Welcome back from your workbook activity. You probably did an awesome job working through this lesson and identifying the explicit instruction, the multiple representations, and the concise language. You may have also seen some fluency building activities, some problem solving, and maybe a motivational component. So let's see if we can find a few of these things together. So this whole lesson is about explicit instruction. And when I see that what they're saying, like, oh, today we're working on a word problem. First of all, that's explicit instruction, the goal, and talking about why they need to do that. They're going to solve a word problem. So there's our problem solving incorporated into this lesson. So here they are solving this problem. This is very explicit. There's lots of questions. The students are responding frequently. So we're getting at a lot of that explicit instruction. And as I look at this page 119, the students are making a representation. They're making a table to help them solve this word problem. Now, this is what their table looks like. So this is a representation of mathematics. So we are seeing mathematics in more than just the abstract, but we're working with multiple representations. And then as I go to this next page here, when I'm on page 121, where we start training, where the tutor is working with the student on deciding whether fractions are equivalent to 1/2. So when I read this part right here, I can see that they're paying attention to the language that's used within the lesson, and I see numerator and denominator. There's just so many great things to see in this lesson. So if I think about this so far, I've seen explicit instruction in play. This is all using explicit instruction. I've seen multiple representations, and we just talked about the use of concise language. We also saw problem solving, and the two things I haven't seen yet are a focus on fluency building and a motivational component. So I'm going to continue with this lesson. This is all using explicit instruction to help students place fractions on a number line, a really important concept that we've talked about in a previous module. Or wait, it wasn't a previous module, it was this module. How great is that? We are seeing the concepts of fractions in play within intensive intervention. And if I keep going, lots of good explicit instruction, lots of stuff on the number line. I'm going to keep going here because then I want to get to this part here. So we had an audio problem with last time I talked about this page, so we are re-recording it. So that's the reason I have a different outfit and it's a different time. But let's go ahead and talk about this page. So in this lesson, we've already seen good examples of explicit instruction and multiple representations and clear and concise language. And that brings us to our fourth component that should be embedded within intensive intervention, and that's fluency building. Now, often when I say fluency building, people think about math facts. So how well do you add 6 plus 5? How well do you multiply 7 times 9? But fluency building isn't always just about math facts. In fact, students have to have fluency with counting. That comes before understanding math facts. And then students should have fluency with things related to fractions. For example, listing multiples. That's going to help with common denominators. Students should also develop fluency with adding and subtracting positive and negative integers. Students should have fluency with solving 1- and 2-step equations. And there is a fluency building component. I hope you found it. It is right here. And this is our fraction sprint, and it's time for 1 minute. So this is a brief fluency practice where students have to figure out if fractions are equivalent to 1/2 or not equivalent to 1/2. And that is the fluency building activity. And that's going to be really important for students to be able to quickly identify whether a fraction is equivalent to 1/2 or not. That's going to help with comparing of fractions. That's going to help with ordering of fractions. And then that's also going to help with the operations and thinking about the estimates that will come when you add, subtract, multiply, or divide fractions, especially if you have a good understanding about what 1/2 means. This lesson also didn't really focus on problem-solving instruction on this lesson, but it does within this intervention program. They do focus on problem-solving at other times. But then the last part that we do see alive and well in this lesson is a motivation component. Here you can see it's called scoreboard. Student received dollars, and there's like $half and whole dollars, and then they can save up those dollars to buy little prizes. So you can see here they can go to the fraction store. So that's how the motivation component is embedded within this lesson.